What's good, folks? Snapzilla Gorilla, aka The Definition, coming at y'all with a short video. So today I want to talk about another good reason I homeschool my children. You understand what I'm talking about? So, back in September, I just found out about this. Ryan from High Plaque Vlogs made a video in regards to this, and I was going to play the audio to what was going on, but I decided, it's too much technological shit you gotta do. So if I could find a way to cut it in, I would. But as you can see, I just ain't got it like that yet. So I'm gonna just do it like this. What I am going to do is I'm going to share a link to this particular video and article in the description box so you guys can check it out. This is in regards to what happened at a school in Orlando. Okay, apparently there was this charter school where a young girl was attending. Okay, she was 6 years old, and apparently she had assaulted some staff members at the school. So what did the staff members at the school decide to do? What was the first thing they did? No, it was not call the parents. No. It was not to discuss and chastise the child and tell her that was the wrong thing to do and kind of control the situation. No, they didn't want to do that either. They called the police. All right. And what happened from there is the officer showed up, and as the teacher that's sitting with her, reading her a story, stands to watch, the officer pulls out some zip ties, okay? Pulls out zip ties and decides to handcuff the young girl. And then the young girl starts screaming for help, starts screaming to be let go. The cop refuses to listen to the child, just continues to be the ultimate prick, and starts to walk the child out through the school to his vehicle, where he throws her in the back like some hardened criminal, okay? Like she had just done the worst thing ever. All right. And when I saw the video, when I heard the audio, when I heard the young girl screaming and begging and crying to be let go, to no avail. It broke my heart. And the fact that woman that's supposed to be there to protect the child, that's supposed to be sort of a surrogate parent to the child while that child is in the school's care for 8 hours, just sat there and said, "You're going to go with the police today," like just handed her off. And I'm like, what kind of shit is this? What kind of shit is this? I'll tell you what kind of shit this is. This is the statist mind at work. This is the statist. This is the ultimate statist behavior. This is the ultimate statist situation. You see, we're so conditioned to rely on the cops for everything, to rely on the government for everything. We can't even solve a 6-year-old problem in an amicable and sensible way. We have to call a black jackbooted enforcer to come take a 6-year-old child away. Okay? The fact that they called the police on this child in the first place is absolutely ridiculous to the nth degree. And man, I tell you, and so this is my thing, man. This is why I'm so adamant about homeschooling your children. I homeschool my children. It's a beautiful thing. I'm in control of their education. My wife is in control of their education, and most importantly, I'm in control of their safety. I'm in control of their outlook on life. I'm in control of what they are presented with. I don't shelter my children, but I do let them see the realities of life and explain to them what is and what isn't acceptable, or what does or doesn't make sense. just the outrageous bullshit going on in this world, they are well aware of it. And I'm there to guide them. I have to guide them. I cannot rely on an institution that houses hundreds of thousands of children every day to bring my child up properly and to not conflict with the teachings and the guidance I have to give them when they come home from school. Like, that in and of itself is a conflict. So what you had in this school in Orlando was a staff unequipped to deal with children that do not belong to them. Because guess what? They're not supposed to deal with them in this regard. They're not supposed to. I don't feel like, listen, man, I know it's difficult for most people to be able to homeschool their children. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of, economically, you have to be economically sound. You know, you have to have a parent that essentially can't work out in the workforce. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to afford to do that. But see, that's when you come together. That's when cooperative economics come into play. Okay, you get together with a village or a community of people of like minds that might have families where both parents have to work, but you know a single mother, or not a single mother, you know a stay-at-home mother that's already homeschooling their children, and you might find 2 or 3 of those type of women or men, or whatever the case may be, and they form something of a school together, and they can take on children within their community. That's how you solve that problem. Okay, you don't have, you're not economically capable of having just one parent work. All right, well, let's get together. We know people. We know families where one parent can work and is already homeschooling their children. Let's work something out with them. Let's see what we can do. Let's work together. You know what I mean? And you know, if you're on welfare, right? If you're on welfare, you should be homeschooling your children. I'm sorry. If you're on welfare and you don't have to work and you stay at home mother, you know what I mean? You're a single mother. I feel like maybe you should homeschool your children. Like, that's the whole point of being on welfare. You can't work. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. I know. Listen, man. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. You're putting your child out there into the world where you're relying on strangers to basically raise one half of your child, okay? And you don't know their ideology. You don't know they're of like mind. You don't know what their spirit is. You don't know what their intentions is with the children that they are in charge of. You don't know shit until one day your child is breaking down and crying and or takes a bunch of pills and you trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and you find out, Coach Bennett was touching all up on your child, or she got pregnant by some unequipped teenage boy, or she keeps getting beat up. You don't know what's going on because you allowed your child to be under the guidance of people who don't care about your children. No one's going to care about your children like you are, unless, like I said, you are in a village of like-minded people and you all grow up together. You're a family, essentially, and it's just you guys meld, and that's the type of community we need to start creating amongst ourselves. Pull our children out of these institutions, these prison, these school to prison pipeline. See, that was the perfect example of how the school system is a school to prison pipeline. A fucking pig coming up in the school and arresting, kidnapping a 6-year-old child with zip ties behind her back. What kind of psychopathy? What level of psychopathy must you have to be able to do that to a child? I don't understand it. And I don't understand how the staff could sit up there and allow this to happen. Like, what y'all doing? And then one woman said, "Oh, does she have to be tied up like that?" And he's like, "Yes, she does." And that was it. See, and that's also an example of how we're allowing ourselves to be ruled by people with special privileges, given special rights, qualified immunity. You know what I'm saying? They are overlords. That's how we look at these cops. Oh, the cops are the overlords. They're the overseers. We have to do what they say at all times. We can't question them. And that's another problem. So not only did he arrest that 6-year-old, apparently the youngest child he ever arrested or kidnapped. I don't know why I keep saying arrested. The youngest child he kidnapped was 7 years old. Okay? And then when he found out that child was 6, he said, "Oh, that's a broken record." What kind of mentality is that? And then he goes on to arrest a child the same day for the same reason, for battery of another child. Listen, kids get in fighting schools all the time, and that's what you have to understand when you send your child off to the arena of hundreds of little gladiators. Okay, I mean, you don't know half these children's parents. You're not going to know maybe not even 25% of the parents. You're not going to know them, but you're going to send your kids to school off to school with these kids whose parents you don't know. You don't know how they're raising their children. These children are going around having sex on campus. The elementary school girls giving blowjob contests. It's fucking ridiculous. How can you can't control that? And I'm gonna tell you something. The staff members, the faculty, they're not trying to stop this shit. They don't care. They don't care about children. As a matter of fact, I was working at a school last week, and the guy wanted me to show him how to program a time clock for an exterior fixture, because there's a breezeway where these fixtures are that's out and it's dark. That breezeway is dark. He said one day at 7 o'clock, it just got dark. 2 kids is screwing in this breezeway where there's no light. I said, what'd you do? They're screwing right there. 2 high school kids on the ground, nasty as hell, just because they horny, and that's what they want to do to each other. He said nothing. He just walked on, and I'm like, word, yeah, because they don't want to confront the parents, because apparently they had worked with a guy who caught 2 kids fucking. And apparently this happens all the time in at least the high schools and the middle schools. Kids just banging all over the place, all over the campus. And I've actually seen used condoms in different locations. It's wild. So the dude one of the guys actually told the parents, and the parents flipped out on him. Just went ham on his ass because he had brought it up. I don't know if he got in trouble or what, but he said he's never doing that again. So, I mean, these guys, they don't want to even go there. You see what I'm saying? And this is what your children are doing. You're sending your children off to the deep unknown unknowing. And what you think is going to happen? You know, you might have a certain diet for your child that you want to die. You might want your child to eat Whole Foods and all this other shit. You send them off and they eating all this crap. Ices on the way home, so going to 7-Eleven buying all kind of candy bars. Kids are going to be kids, all right? You want your children to be children. You want them to enjoy life, but you also want them. You also want to influence them 90%. 90% of the influence on a child should come from the parents and the family, the parents and the family, because you have family members that all have different perspectives. They all have different experiences that these kids can learn from. Or you link up with other homeschooling parents, right? You do play dates. This is what we do. We let our kids hang out with other homeschool kids of the same mind, with parents that have the same mind. that have the same way of thinking, that don't want the educational system to rule over their children, to rule over their education, and to possibly become victims of kidnapping from law enforcement for whatever reason. You got cops running up in classrooms, slamming children down, like beating them up. Like, it's getting absolutely ridiculous. These schools, man, these schools are the gauntlets for your children, and you don't want them to go through that type of gauntlet. You want them to have a productive. You want them to have productive obstacles, not obstacles that are unnecessary that can get them killed, or get them pregnant too early, or get them stomped out. I know you've heard the story where a bunch of asshole kids beat on one kid, killed the kid, 8 years old. That's the type of shit that goes on in these schools. I mean, these kids are out of control. These kids are out of control. Point blank and period. So, y'all know where I'm at with it. I'm a strong advocate for homeschooling children. I feel like you should be in complete control of their education. Like I said, it ain't gonna work for everybody, but you find a community that you build a community that's willing to people make sacrifices. That's what community is all about. People make sacrifices. You link up. Cooperative economics. You make things happen. You build it. If you don't have that community yet, you build it. You build it. It takes time to trust other people, because I know I don't have family. Much of my family, I think I'm the only guy in my family that is homeschooling his children. But there are people all over LA that homeschool their children, and you link up with them whenever you can, because you guys are on the same wavelength to a degree. And then you guys link up, you find out what other things connect you, and it's typically the same things. You don't want vaccination. You don't want the school to influence your children. You don't want them to be a part of the school to prison pipeline. You don't want them eating all kind of crap. You don't want them being molested. You don't want them getting arrested by overzealous pigs. There are any number of things that links people together, and I'm finding more and more parents like that. So, hey, you make things happen when you can. Now, that cop that arrested a 6-year-old child was fired, but I think he should be prosecuted, charged with a crime, because he did commit a crime against that poor child. He kidnapped her. He put her in the car, took her to the juvenile center, and then they let her go. But the fact that he got her in the car, the fact that he touched that child in the first place, he should be arrested for kidnapping. And what is 18 U.S. Code 242 say? If you kidnap a person under the color of law while violating their rights, you can be sentenced to life imprisonment or death. Let's make that happen. So we need to start taking seriously the shit that we have in front of us. We need to start using what we have. These U.S. codes, they like to use them against us all the time. We need to start using it against them. Had this cop arrested, he should be sentenced to. I feel like the justice system needs to sentence the cop to death. And any cop that decides that they want to violate a person's rights under the color of law and kidnap them and put them through hell and ruin their life because now they have a mark on their record. No, any person, any official, any judge, any police chief that backs that violator up, they also need to get it too. You know what I'm saying? They also need to be under the justice system, because the United States, the Congress put that shit out there. The U.S. The 18 U.S. Code 242. That needs to start being implemented. When these police officers, when these judges, when all of these people that call themselves lawmakers, violate our rights. When they create laws that violate our rights, they need to be punished for it. Absolutely. Yes. Fine, jail time, life imprisonment, depending on the severity of the rights violation. You lay your hands on somebody while violating their rights, stomp them out, punch them in the face, stomp them in the head, shoot them in the back, whatever you do. 9 times out of 10 is getting caught on video. Hey, that's all the proof we need. Oh, he didn't have a gun? Oh, he was just telling you that he had a concealed carry license. You just decided to shoot him, even though he didn't pull his gun on you. Oh, you need to die. It's pretty clear. He needs to be sentenced to death. That dude that killed Philando Castile should be put to death. That's how I feel about it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's all on video. It is what it is. But as you know, they're not going to do that because they're in charge of the justice system and they control all that shit. They control it. So they pick and choose when they want to enforce certain laws and certain capital punishments. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it to their own people. And cops are their people. So anyway, that went a little longer than I was expecting. But y'all get what I'm saying, man. Take control of your children's lives. Take control of your children's education. Take control of your children's future. Their life is dependent on it. All right. Much love to y'all. Peace out.